Hi traders, Nathan Bray here from ACY Securities. Welcome back. It's the start of 2025, folks. We do at the moment have a lot of movement in the market. It's a bit lower volume. We've got President's Recognition Day today after Jimmy Carter's passing. So the markets tonight, the US markets will be shut, followed by end of week NFP data coming out. So I feel like moving into next week, I think we'll get back to possibly a more regulated market condition to start off the new year. But before we do that, let's talk about where we're at and whether or not we're looking at 2024 just continuing into 2025, or are we potentially going to see something different? So to start off with, let's talk about the end of 2024. So I saw a few things in 2024, which we've analyzed and discussed here at ACY before. We saw Bitcoin going to all-time highs. We saw stocks markets going to all-time highs. We saw gold at the same time going to all-time highs. We also had, and we do have still, a very strong US dollar. All of these were happening at the same time. And my thinking was, having my experience in the markets and trading markets, hey, something's got to give here. At some point, profit needs to be taken. So at the moment, we've seen a correction in stocks, definitely. So I'll put up a chart here of the S&P 500, and you can see this uptrend. We now have it either consolidating, but definitely putting in lower top, lower bottom. Bitcoin, same scenario. Definitely putting in lower top, lower bottom. So change of this uptrend structure. If we take a look at gold, definitely correcting. Lower top, lower bottom. So my thinking now is, after all of these assets who are in strong uptrends start to at least take a break or consolidate, are we going to see the same thing happen with the US dollar index? So does that mean if we're still short, say, euro dollar, pound dollar, Aussie dollar, etc., we're thinking it's gone down so far, do I really want to get short this low? So, or am I someone that wants to wait for a correction for an opportunity to continue trading the trend? So our own senior market strategist, Duncan Cooper, he always says to me, Nathan, the whole idea of a trend is that it's going to go beyond your expectation. So you just trade the trend until eventually you're wrong. So you can just keep trading it, and if it's going to go further than you expect, it might provide a lot more trading opportunities. And that is very true. And it's a very simplistic approach that allows you right now to just keep going long this US dollar until the structure changes. So the thing that I'm really looking at is two areas. I'm looking at the technical structure of price, which we'll look at in a moment. But the other thing is I'm looking at the drivers of the market. Has something changed? Is there talk about something changing? To sort of give me an impetus whether I want to keep trading this trend, or could there be the chance of a potential correction? So things that I'm looking at as far as this US dollar index goes is, are we going to have interest rate cuts, okay, which could provide some weakness to the US dollar? Are we going to see money printing occurring? Is there going to be some reason to purchase bonds? For me, these are the big driver things that could change the direction of this trend, or at least provide a decent correction. So those two aspects are very interesting. And at this point, there's no real solid talk of there being an increase in cuts, or in fact, the talk is that they mightn't be doing as many cuts as we expected, and that could be why this US dollar is so strong. So the areas I'm looking at is, I'm looking at Trump. Okay, so Trump's coming out now and he's tweeting just before he takes over power, and his tweet was, I want lower interest rates. He said, I understand that inflation's strong, but these interest rates are far too high. So that was the first thing. Then we've got the FOMC minutes that came out a few hours ago, okay? And the FOMC came out and they said it's hard to know the expectation. It's hard to see the inflation data because of all these tariffs that Trump's coming in with, right? So it's almost like Trump said, I want lower rates. And now you've got the FOMC confused, saying, oh, maybe we don't know what effect it's going to have, right? Like, no one's ever done tariffs before, right? Like, this is just a new thing. So I feel like until we get some clarity, until they actually change their narrative, right now, I feel like this US dollar is just going to continue its trend higher at this point. Now, sure, there could be a corrective period, but the longer term trend is definitely intact to start 2025. Technically speaking, the only issues I've got is I feel like on a weekly chart, it's an overextension. Okay, we're up around above the 127 fib retracement extension on this US dollar index. So could it have just run too high before some profit taking comes into play? So technically, that would be one thing I'm looking at to see if price is holding above this level on the weekly chart. And the second thing is, what is Donald Trump going to come out and say? But let's keep in mind, Donald Trump is talking also about taking over Greenland and taking over Canada and just making it the United States of Trumplandia. And we have seen in history how this type of forced expansion doesn't end so well. I mean, look at the problems we saw in the EU when that was formed. So folks, I am looking forward to a big year ahead. These could be very volatile scenarios. Why is it volatile? Because we're talking about huge changes and big uncertainties, such as what exactly are these tariffs going to do? Where are they going to be implemented? Because remember the old saying, folks, it goes trade war with tariffs, currency war, then major hot war, and we really don't want to see that happening this year. But there is definitely that uncertainty and definitely a threat of volatility due to the uncertainty. Have yourself a great trading year, folks. I look forward to keeping you updated.